Hey guys, Bix, we're RoadtoRoota.com. We get to talk to Will Lehr today of ProfessionalAssets.com. It's been a long time, Will. A lot of the things we have been predicting have been oh my God, that fan looks so funny above your head. It looks like you have one of those hats with the little spinning things on it. It's awesome.
That's why I turned it off because it was good. It looks like I have a yeah. I
That
think it
looks
gets
perfect.
distracted.
So, how you been? We're going to talk about a lot of stuff. What's going on with you?
Oh man, everything, right? It feels like we're in that moment right now that we've been waiting for I don't know, however long a lot of us have been waiting. Like the boiling up of literally like everything. I mean, my personal life, business life. I mean, everything's just kind of like coming to an event, to a
A
moment, to a
crescendo.
transition.
A
Yeah,
crescendo. I love that word,
crescendo.
crescendo.
But life is good, man. Life is good.
Excellent.
It's crazy. It's insane to watch these things unravel, but here we are.
So we're going to do a two-part discussion. First part, we're going to put on YouTube. So we have to kind of watch what we say. We'll be talking about silver. We'll be talking about, we want to get down and dirty about Theta, potential there. And then the second part, we're going to go down the conspiracy route, which will be on the private road at roadtoRoota.com. But we cannot even close to scratch the surface on the things we want to talk about on YouTube, unfortunately. There is talk of breaking up Google, which could mean that YouTube would be spun off, and perhaps Mr. Musk would buy YouTube, which would be kind of cool. But who knows these days? So let's start with silver. What's your take right now on the silver market? Where do you think we are?
I think we're out of the weeds, right? We're out of that long, just manipulative long term. There's obviously still manipulation. They're guarding that 3250 number like the line in the sand that it is.
Why
I think
3250?
I don't know. I think it's just a point of resistance and support over the years,
For the
right?
technicals,
And
technical number.
I think once it breaks through, closes above that, it could continue. The momentum is there from a you know technical perspective, I guess, and you can see it in the market. The last couple months, we've gotten close to it. We went over it one day, and then
Mhm.
of course slammed down right before close. So it feels like the financial banking system, the dollar denominated system, is entirely propped up by that, silver Achilles heel. So I don't, it wouldn't surprise me to see Bitcoin and cryptos running first, causing that sort of flight into that capital. And then as a lot of market cap comes in there, I could see that going over into silver and then causing a breakout in silver. I think it's only going to happen though when it's either allowed to happen or when the system is ready, let's say, for the transition. And we're not like, I don't think it could be tomorrow, but it feels like I could see Bitcoin going out, breaking out first, causing the rally, so to speak, the frenzy, and then silver with this whole notion of the dollar being dead, right? It's coming internationally from Russia, China. The BRICS nations are very close to launching a new monetary system if they haven't already and just not announced it to the rest of us. So I think that day is soon, right? Where you see this de-dollarization in the minds of the masses, and a lot of investment capital flies into Bitcoin and cryptos and and silver.
I agree. I think the big question always, and the reason I say, hey, you got to be on the sidelines, you have to have your assets in your own possession, is because they could do it either way. They can rig the markets anywhere they want and continue that game, which is what they've been doing basically by printing infinite amounts of unbacked fiat forms of money, including derivatives. Um, and that's what they've been doing. The other play that they can make is to pull the plug. And if the U.S. runs this game, which I believe we do, um, we would ultimately, with the destruction of the fiat monetary system, the largest debtor nation wins the game, obviously, because there's no more debt. There's no more electronic assets. There's all kinds of issues and problems that come with it. But that was always the plan was not to run an unbacked fiat monetary system for as long as they did. Starting in 1913. I just watched G. Edward Griffith talk to Andy Schectman, and you and I have read Creature from Jekyll Island and analyzed it inside and outside. I am of the opinion he absolutely got it right, except for one thing he didn't really expand on, which was the motivation of the banks to create this cartel to control money. I personally think it aligns exactly with finding the gold in the Grand Canyon, billions and billions and billions of ounces at a time when the U.S. only had 100 million ounces. So that kind of made sense. But always there was always the understanding that at some point it wouldn't work anymore. Faith and confidence wouldn't work. You don't have faith in your government system or your economic system. We're there. Nobody's got faith in the Fed. Nobody's got faith in the World Bank or the BIS.
Political system.
Oh yeah, well yeah, it's gigantic. Nobody has faith in anything, and that's what it takes to run an unbacked fiat monetary system. Um, let's just say let's run a thought experiment because Trump's been talking about cryptos, he's been talking about gold. He obviously knows what the next move is and probably when. I think he would rather the system fall apart on the Biden Harris watch than his watch.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he wants to continue the rig job that, but at the same time, if you don't, what are we looking at really? Let's run a thought experiment. Let's say the system stays together, Trump wins. What do you think he'll do with the monetary system?
Well, based on the trial balloons he's been floating recently, doing away with taxes on tips, doing away with what were the ones I saw just recently regarding taxation.
Well, he said he
Um,
could pay off the debt with cryptocurrency,
yes, he
which
did.
you can. I mean, Congress has the ability to make the $70 trillion gold coin if they wanted, and just put $70 trillion on it. All of a sudden, you've created 70 trillion of new money to pay off the old money, but that not have it debt based. So it's like the whole game is.
We're
I
we're
I don't know.
clearly at a massive transition, right? I watched this video the other day, and this guy was going back through, the Great Depression and all these, and then that brought in Bretton Woods or whatever, like all these massive shifts, and how they were preceded by chaos, by a couple years or a few years of just total chaos, people losing their minds. And exactly what's happening right now. Is that by design to get everybody all crazy so that you can usher in this new system? Maybe. Does it have motives of malice, or is it white hat? Does it have a
Right.
good intent to liberate humanity and put them on a free system that's not controlled by the Rothschilds anymore? So rest assured, be sure that there is incredible transition, stuff behind the scenes that most of us can't even imagine, even with incredible imaginations that we have. Um, yeah, man, I almost gave up trying to figure out what in the heck's going to happen. I mean, um, it's what you've studied about the, hey, let's just, we're going to max this fiat monetary system out to its maximum potential, and along the while we're going to just stash commodities for the next system. We're going to stash silver, we're going to stash oil, we're going to stash water, we're going to just hide all this stuff in these national parks. You saw the drone thing in the Grand Canyon recently, right? Some hiker from West Texas
I didn't. What happened?
went missing in the Grand Canyon recently, and somebody sent a drone in to look for him. Well, the drone discovered Egyptian artifacts, Egyptian hieroglyphs. This
I
is
didn't.
mainstream,
I
bro.
didn't.
I
I
can't believe
didn't.
I didn't send it to you.
I didn't see you did. Yeah, send it to me. I do know that drones are highly illegal in the Grand Canyon. So
Yeah.
unless they had authorization,
Somehow they got
highly
this one in. Somehow
highly
they
illegal.
got this one in. Maybe they had authorization because there was a missing person
Yeah.
involved, or maybe it was just a private search party. I don't know. But yeah, there's footage. You can, it's like, now that, I think they closed the park. They were like, the park is now closed down because a drone came in to look for a hiker and captured Egyptian. hieroglyphic footage.
I do
Anyway,
remember them closing the Grand Canyon. For those who didn't know, I've done just I can't tell you how many hours of work in studying what happened in the Grand Canyon, what was going on with the gold, with the pre-civilizations that have been there, why all the mountains are named after Egyptian gods and all that stuff. And if you even just look at the Grand Canyon, they look like ancient pyramids and ancient cities that were have been demolished over the millennia. And for one reason or another, we did a remote viewing, and Dick Allgaier saw um, massive civilizations in the Grand Canyon with all kinds of different types of beings. And most of it's buried in the mud in whatever it was that flooded everything out and destroyed it all. So, yeah, interesting stuff there. But I hadn't heard of, do they show the footage of what the drone shot or just talk
they
about
show a they show a picture of Egyptian hieroglyphics. Now, I don't know if that was what the drone captured
it?
or that was a representation, but yeah.
It could be, I mean, from what from my understanding now, the current situation, for example, one of the caves in the Grand Canyon, uh, Kincaid's Cave, the archaeologists who went down there to excavate, it was in the Arizona Gazette and all that. From my understanding, and that's where what was that guy's name that lost his eyesight because he went in there and saw it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
they have trails named after him. But my understanding is they've closed up that cave and completely made it unvisible. They got rid of the little walkway that went up, and you can't see it anymore. But it was massive. So there's massive underground uh, caverns, and Dick Allgaier was seeing massive gold deposits, not in the earth, but like pottery and very valuable things from the past hidden in the Grand Canyon caverns that mankind still, even the government still hasn't seen yet.
They like to make movies about this stuff. Remember National Treasure with Nicolas
Yeah,
Cage? I
and
mean,
the Wizard of Oz remake, just the recent one. I mean, I analyzed that, and I'm like, gave me goosebumps just thinking about what it was. Um, And I mean, go check out RoadtoRoota and do a search for Grand Canyon, and you can find a whole bunch of stuff. I've been there. I've saw where they were mining the gold out of the side of the mountain, and why no one's allowed to go in there anymore. No one's allowed to mine. No one's allowed to go in certain areas. You can't go in the caves. And one of my favorite discoveries was the head of the um, the head anthropologist for that area, for the entire area, was a woman named Chris Kincaid, spelled the exact same way as her father or probably grandfather before her. And I found that on a document that I'm like, oh my God, this can't be real. I tried to get in touch with her, couldn't get in touch with her. Didn't. I think she might be gone now too. So
mhm.
yeah, lots of things were done in the Grand Canyon, but I think and a lot of it is being saved for the future of our monetary system. I did have a guy who had been there, and I would call it an insider, but he was on a his dad was really into this stuff, took him on a fishing trip down the Colorado River, supposedly, and they took a tributary off to the side, and they're going down because he had inside information on where a lot of the stuff was. And all of a sudden, the military comes out onto the beach with these massive whatever guns they had back in this is the 60s, pulled him and his dad aside. They took him to a military base within the Grand Canyon. He saw all these Egyptian styles being loaded onto trucks. It's like right out of Indiana Jones type stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
and I know the guy well, and I won't say any names, but it was unbelievable. And
Wow.
it's one of those things. Oh, that's a conspiracy theory. People love saying that about Kincaid's cave, and because it lists a really intricate recountment of how it was found, what was in these caves, and then with our work with Dick Allgaier, we saw it. We were able to see what was in these caves.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing stuff, and it I've stopped looking at it because I think the next jump will be actually being allowed to go there and to open these areas and show humanity just what they've been missing all these years. Really exciting.
with with the secrets revealed, the truth coming out. Yeah, it feels close, man. We'll save that all that talk for the next interview, though.
Okay, let's move to Theta. Now,
Mm.
let me Will and I go way back on Theta. We were early adopters, shall we say, of kind of understand. We kind of knew through Michelle White-Dove that it was something special, but even before Michelle, we were buying all kinds of ICOs, and this one was really unique because it had some pretty big names as backers. And then you go down that path of what Theta is. Back when it was just content delivery network, it was really ingenious way to get to basically expand broadband and have a cheaper way for companies like Netflix to distribute their information throughout like cities and things like that with that they pay for it through content CDNs, content delivery networks. That was the original intent. That has changed. I mean, that's like an easy peasy for Theta now. What has changed is that they figured out that this software can actually tap into all the unused computers on the planet. You have on your hard drive, you have unused storage space in your hard drive. You have unused processing capacity in the chips in your devices. You have unused broadband that you're not fully capable, you're not fully maximizing. These can all be shared with the Theta Edge node. And that was just revolutionary. I think they started talking about that about a year to 2 years ago. And when you consider their partners, Google, Amazon, and Microsoft are the three big cloud storage companies. Everybody knows cloud storage is going decentralized. They aren't working on anything other than what Theta is doing. So that's my take, and why I think it's massively undervalued. What's your take? What's your position on what Theta can do and is doing?
Well, you mentioned the old school. I'm just looking through for a for a tweet right now about. I thought it was Mitch that put it out. Um, you mentioned the old school ICO days, and I remember you came across the information early on that hey, Theta was going to do an ICO, and then they shelved it, and they did a private offering instead, which then, of course, saved their butts from all the ICO and all that nonsense. They just did a straight private offering.
But
Um,
but it also made it so that they couldn't be listed on U.S. exchanges.
really? So the with that private offering, they weren't able to list.
Well, they didn't want to run afoul of the
Mm-hmm.
regulators. So I think that's the reason that you can't find it on Coinbase, you can't find it on uh, Gemini or any of them. And
Which some say because of the lack of clarity in the U.S. regulatory laws, right? The SEC or the freaking Treasury of FinCEN, whatever, could any moment CFTC could come down and say, "Oh, Bitcoin's a money laundering tool," and so yeah, they've insulated themselves. It's almost like it's been protected in a way. The price, there's a lot of Theta people in the community that have been really frustrated with the price action, which is natural. But the people who really understand the technology, and I think is the price. Is it in this? Is it being kept quiet for a reason? Because it's that huge. Um, when you look at what's happening in the AI world, uh, all this computing power, these massive giants. One of my buddies, a big NVIDIA investor, and he's way down this rabbit hole. And we've been talking about Theta and what Theta like. That's the tweet I was looking for, was something where Mitch was talking about these new edge nodes and integrating with some new system that allowed them to create all these computational power that all these NVIDIAs would like. So and the big dogs, the Amazons, the Googles, the Apples, they're all talking about the dire need for this expansion in computational energy. And effectively, what Theta has done is commoditized computational energy. GPU and CPU are energy, that these little things produce, and or you have the ability to utilize them to produce this energy that then it can go power a Bitcoin miner. It can power your DVD films that are broadband. The broadband thing is interesting, right? Theta was initially built to be this fix for broadband because broadband was same problem with the huge Amazons and Googles of the world. They were funneling huge amounts of data through these tight little distributed networks, and broadband was and has been extremely difficult to scale. And so what Theta initially did was figured out how to commoditize the energy on these dormant devices while they're sitting there doing nothing, lease that space out to a network that can then offer that broadband. So instead of all that broadband data going through one centralized node, it's now going through millions or whatever, right? In theory. So, but now with AI, that need for computational productivity has even massively increased. And
A huge problem.
Theta's, go
It's a
ahead.
gigantic problem that all the people involved with providing the backbone of AI are saying we need more broadband capacity. We need
And
more.
will pay anything for it. I mean,
Mhm.
that's what my buddy told me. He's hearing from executives from Amazon and Google, and they're like, it's invaluable. And so, Theta had these early partnerships with big names like Google and Samsung, and just weeks ago, they rolled out on all Android devices, 3.5 billion Androids. All the Androids
Mobile
now in the
devices.
App Store,
Yeah.
you can go in and download the Theta Edge node on the phone, and now you're running an Edge node on your phone. This is thumbs up you know by Android, like Sony. That's a Sony product, right? No, Google.
Oh, the Android is the operating system, right? So
Right, but isn't it Google? Google owns it, I think.
Google,
Anyway,
yeah, is the main player that they partner with. Well, here's a question, and I've been saying this for a while that Theta, the ultimate, what is Theta? It's a software download, and I've been saying it for years that they could download it on every computer on the planet, and all of a sudden you have this massive infrastructure for AI for anything you want.
flip a switch.
Yeah. And so with the release of the mobile Theta Edge node that got released a couple of weeks ago, 3.9 billion devices could theoretically be running that and solve all these problems that the AI people have. But here's one my thought in my wonderment, at least for now. I think that it is being hidden from any normal crypto investor. Um, Theta has massive partners. Google, Samsung, Sony, Amazon, Microsoft, they're all partners. They're all working with Theta Labs to invent decentralized cloud, all kinds of things, right? Where are they? I mean, where is Google announcing, oh, Theta Labs had this great invention that just got released on 3.9 billion Android phones. Where
Nothing.
where are the partners? Why
Crickets.
don't yeah,
Crickets.
crickets? And they're all saying the same thing, that everything's going to a decentralized network, but none of the partners are actually promoting. Even freaking Katy Perry, which was, I think, a huge, ridiculous mistake in the early days. They even gave her part ownership of the company. But even Katy Perry didn't even tweet to her 100 million followers, hey, you people with Android phones, why don't you download a Theta mobile edge
She
node?
never even tweeted anything about her the NFTs they did in her
Nothing.
collection. Nothing.
I
Yeah.
mean, Theta Labs needs to, the marketing department at Theta Labs has always been suspect, but they need to step up and make their partners, or at least ask their partners to, throw us a little bone of advertising. Why not?
Bix, I don't think they're stupid. I think that's by design. Like, this is being kept quiet for a reason. Like, it's kind of like you look at a country like El Salvador who made Bitcoin legal tender. Well, they didn't announce that until they'd already, amassed some Bitcoin. The country of Bhutan just announced, oh, by the way, we've been mining Bitcoin for the last 3 years with hydroelectric energy, and we have almost $1 trillion in Bitcoin in our
Easily.
reserves.
Yeah.
Was it that much? No, it was 800
Probably not
million.
that much.
Yeah, I'm sorry, it was
A lot.
800 million.
A lot. Well, Trump wants to absolutely. Well, I think with the Trump thing in Bitcoin and in cryptos, I think the US government has Satoshi's million Bitcoin. And I don't know if you saw there was an HBO special on a new guy they're saying uh is Satoshi. Did you watch
Hmm.
that at all?
Not yet. No.
I didn't either. I think it's bullshit. I know who it is already. And it's this guy Tatsuki. Wait, let me get the name right. Tatsuki Okamoto. That's who Satoshi Nakamoto is. There's no doubt in my mind. I've seen all he's written hundreds of papers in the same exact format as the white paper
Mhm.
on encryption and money. And he just, when we did the remote viewing of who is, where did Bitcoin come from? I think it was there was four people that they came out with. Number one was a guy named now I'm blanking on his name. He invented basic computing. John
It
Kimony.
wasn't
John
Kimony. I was about to say Kimony. Yeah.
John Kimony invented BASIC in the 1960s. Literally, Dick Allgaier drew what John Kimony, he was a professor. He drew a professor teaching his students, and that's what was going on in the 60s. The second guy he drew was an exact replica of Alan Greenspan, who invented financial computing. He literally invented financial computing in the late 60s, early 70s, and implemented it under Arthur Burns. That's why banking went electronic. The third guy he drew was the Apple guy, Steve
Jobs.
Jobs. Exact image of Steve. Now, what this has to do with Bitcoin is it made Bitcoin, without the iPhone, without mobile devices, Bitcoin won't work as money. It wouldn't have worked.
Hmm.
It would just be
Hmm.
playing on your computer. So those are the three most important people up to a point. And then there was another guy, and it was an Asian guy who was like kind of at his desk, and nobody knew who that guy was. And that's the guy named Satoshi Nakamoto, aka Tatsuki Okamoto, because they all the remote viewers said it's some kind of anagram, but the name, but the letters are mixed up. Go down,
Interesting.
go down this guy Tatsuki's list of work, and
Mm.
he teaches at Berkeley, right across the bay from me, and he works for a company. I think it's called NTT, which is basically the NSA.
Mm.
And I do believe that back to what I'm talking about. I believe the U.S. has all of Satoshi's Bitcoin, the 1 million Bitcoin they have.
Yet another commodity that they're hoarding for the post dollar world.
Yes, and they're saving it for the end of fiat. And that's why Trump's like, yeah, 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 we could have Bitcoin pay off all the national debt.
That's
Okay,
what he's
do
talking
the math
about.
on 70 trillion divided by 21 million Bitcoin, and you got a pretty high Bitcoin price. But you'd only have a million, so it would be
Right. Yeah. You'd have to do 70 trillion divided by a million.
I I, I don't know, not even gonna know.
Is that $7 million Bitcoin? Or
Uh,
70? I don't know.
damn, yeah,
It's too many zeros, man.
it's 7 million.
We break the calculator.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
70 trillion. You probably don't want to write it out and then just
You keep
cancel the
talking.
zeros out. 70 trillion divided by 1 million.
Wait, no,
Somebody do it.
official debt's 35 trillion is what they're saying, right?
35 trillion. Okay.
I think it is. So let's use
Yes, you're right.
million
You're right. 32 or 35 or something like that. Yes.
trillion divided by 1 million
$1 million.
equals. See that that would be $35 million Bitcoin.
35 million.
There you go. And if the US were to use Bitcoin to pay off the national debt, I don't think why would they? I mean, this old fiat debt
No, it's a
is a
lost cause.
yeah.
You're not going to throw good money after bad.
Yeah. Make a 1 ounce coin. It says a $35 trillion coin and introduce it as money paid off done. Because the faith and confidence at that point will be gone anyway.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And that's what holds the dollar system or any fiat system together is collective faith. And as
Yep.
soon as that's why the dollar and silver, have to, or gold and silver prices have to be held down. Um, Hmm.
Let's. I want to get into some conspiracy stuff, so we're gonna leave YouTube now. If you guys want to catch the second half of this exciting discussion, go to roadtoruta.com. We'll tell people what you're offering these days and how to get in touch with you.
Oh man, we have a lot of offerings. I'm most excited about for our silver stackers anyway. You know, Bix and I have been preaching home storage, self storage. You don't hold it, you don't own it for decades, and I'm a firm believer in that still to this day. But as things have escalated the way they have, and I've been in the industry now a long time, if you are going to vault metal somewhere, we have a solution. It's a company that we've been working with since before perpetual assets, so 14 years now. Um, I love it for several reasons. It is in a small town. It's not in a big city. Brinks and all the vaults are in big blue cities, most of them. Not your Idaho and Washington State. There's some other ones that are sprinkled about, but Brinks are all in blue cities. No gracias. Um, this is in a small town. It's not in a city. Its closest city is 2 hours away, literally in the middle of nowhere in Texas. Um, and the vault is owned. The company is owned by one of the richest families in the state. They didn't get into the metals business 2 decades ago for profit. They did it for asset diversification. They own cattle. They own land. They own oil. They own a lot. They own an ammo company. Um, anyway, we have a wholesale relationship with them, and we can, extend really reasonable storage rates to clients. They have private. I went there recently to drop off some metal, and I've dropped off metal in person in lots of vaults, lots of times. Usually, you get some nice old man with a pistol who comes out from the front desk and wheels the cart out to your truck, and you load up all the bars or whatever, and he wheels you back in. Dude, this time not only did I have the nice old man with the pistol, I had two Army Rangers with AR-15s that were, I felt like I was in the presence of Secret Service. These guys, they're scouting everything. I mean, they're nonstop. These guys were like freaking, they escort you out, they scout the lot, and you're in the middle of nowhere in a small town where these guys own the police force too. Like, there's no way for this to get robbed. And it's backed by Lloyd's of London insurance. So if it is robbed in the current paradigm, no problem. Uh, Private in-house security, technology. You can tell these people have a lot of money. The tech, they have in-house tech guys doing 3D printing and stuff like insane. Security technology that would blow your mind. I have titanium in my spine. I got a spinal fusion years ago. I've been through airports. I fly internationally every month. I've been through lots of scanners. It has never gone off. This vault, 3 of their different scanners and their wand picked up the tiny bit of titanium in my spine. I was like, damn, anyway, I also, and most importantly, feel that
you mainly use the offsite storage for the self-directed IRAs. Is that correct?
Anything. You can do it with IRA metal. You can do it with your personal metal. I'm going to unload a bunch of my personal metal there because I really believe this is safer than me storing it myself. And I have instant liquidity. I can leave to go to El Salvador if the world catches on fire, and I can call the vault and they can sell the silver or a portion of the silver, and perpetual assets can convert that into Bitcoin and send you the Bitcoin the next day. So it's liquid and easy that way. And you have interchangeability via perpetual assets trade desk, interchangeability from Bitcoin or cryptos to silver. Most importantly, on a security, they are insulated from federal risk. The state of Texas, precious metals bullion is viewed as currency here on the legal books. It is money. It's not bank deposit yet, but it's actual. You can't steal it here. Right. And there's no federal entity is ever going to come into Texas and seize anything. They couldn't even force mask mandates during COVID. Hell, the state almost seceded during COVID. Yep. So I think your metal in the state of Texas, your assets, and it's like with Switzerland, in my opinion, of the states. Yep. You've got a family storing your metal that's not going to steal your metal. They've got more money than they know what to do with. So I do. I feel like it is very safe. I've taken some of mine, and I'm going to be taking more because when you're thinking about mobility, okay, if Kamala wins or if they start who knows? I'm going to have to go to El Salvador because it's this shining beacon of liberty on the hill, and I'll be safe there. But how am I going to get all this I can't. There's no way. So
Right. Convert to Bitcoin and that goes anywhere. All right.
yeah,
How do people get in touch with you, Will? And you
perpetual
there's
assets.
all kinds of ways. They'll do self-directed IRAs, they do real estate, they'll do real estate in El Salvador, right? It's going well, and cryptos. So if you're looking to buy and you don't really know what you're doing, definitely contact Will. What's the best way to contact you?
Perpetualassets.com. You can email us on there, contact us. You can call me anytime. It's 888-281-2630. I'm extension 1, I think. Will get you right to me. Yeah, feel free to give us a ring anytime. Shoot us an email. Visit the website. Thanks for the plug, Bix.
Very cool. Thank you. And now we are going to be leaving the deep state controlled YouTube and going to the private road at RoadtoRoota. You guys want to watch the rest of this? Go to roadtoroota.com, sign up or sign in, and we'll get you going. All right. See you later, Will.
See you, buddy. Always a pleasure. Thank you, brother.